cloud. Okay, so today's topic is one of my favorite things to go over, and this is the top 10 mistakes that I see agents make consistently. So I have coached well over 100 agents at this point in the past 3+ years. That I have been a productivity coach, team leader. I started coaching new agents. Obviously, I did that for a number of years. Now I coach more agents that are in production, top producers in the area. And these 10 mistakes are things that I see agents do that are new to the business, that are old to the business, that are top producers, that are working on growing their business. And so we're going to go over them today. And as we're going, take notes. And if you feel that these are one of the pitfalls that you've fallen into, I will hopefully with each one give you an action item that you can take to not continue to make the mistake. Okay, so the number one mistake that I see agents make, and this is almost, I would say 90% of agents that I talk to, do not have a written business plan. They don't have a written business plan. They are, they want to sell more than they sold last year, or they want to sell a lot of real estate, and they have all these ideas flying around in their head about how they're going to do that, and none of it is written down. It's all hypothetical. But see, when you don't have a business plan written down, you don't have an actual strategy that you can incrementally work on, right? Like Lori was saying, the key is to be consistent. It's very hard to be consistent if you don't have an actual plan, right, with goals. Not going to go back into that because we've covered that over the past couple of weeks about goal setting and creating a business plan. If you're wondering what a business plan, a real estate agent's business plan should look like, the first page is the economic business model. That's your income goal and broken down into how many appointments. The second page is your lead generation model. That's once you know how many appointments from your economic business model, where you're getting the leads from. Your lead gen model can be in the form of a 1-3-5. That's where you have the one goal, the 3 priorities, the 5 strategies underneath it. The way I break down the lead generation plan is your 1 goal, that's your appointments for the year. 3 priorities, cold buyer leads, cold seller leads, warm leads, and referrals. All leads are going to fall into one of those 3 buckets. And then underneath that, pick out what lead generation strategies you want to execute on. The third page of your business plan is your budget. So now you know how you want to lead generate. Now you have to look at a budget and where are you going to get the money for the stuff that costs money, right? So you need to have a budget, and that's it. That could be your whole business plan. If you're somebody that's interested in growing a team, you could also have an organizational model, right? That would look like an org chart. So right now, if everybody has an organizational model, you just might have one person on it, right? It could be you. If you're building out a team, it might be you and your admin. If you have a team, it might be you and your admin and your buyer's agents, or a director of operations, or a listing specialist, or your ISA team, right? Follows the flow of the MREA. If you need help or reminders on any of these business forms, they're all in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. So if you need that, if you don't have a copy, pick it up. They're all in there. If you're in coaching with somebody, ask your coach to help you with that. It's important to have a written business plan. That way you know where you're going, right? And look at the business plan once in a while too. Don't just create it and put it in a drawer. Don't just come to my business planning class in November and go, okay, and then put it in a drawer, and then next November you go, oh, there's dust on here. What did I say I was gonna? Oh, right, I was gonna farm a new area. That's funny, all these ideas, right? Look at your business plan, keep it in front of you. All right, number 2, top mistake that agents make. They don't focus on lead generation. The majority of their day is not spent lead generating. Actually, I take that back. It doesn't need to be the majority of your day, but 2 to 3 hours should be lead generating. That leaves 5 hours for nonsense. But don't do 8 hours of nonsense, right? You want 2 or 3 hours of focused lead generation where you're talking to people, you're looking at your business plan, and you're executing on the strategies that you've outlined. the stuff you put on your 411 for the week. You're adding names into your database. You're following up with names that are in your database. You're running marketing campaigns, advertising, that kind of stuff. What I've found happens is a lot of agents, they build their businesses by chance, meaning usually I would say, Patty, Hazel, you guys have been selling real estate, well, Lori too, for a while. Usually around year 3, you start to get leads coming, just like kind of naturally, like you've been around the block enough, like you posted enough stuff. It's usually when you get that like tipping point and people start contacting you because they're like, oh, this is legitimate. Like they're, you know, they've now been bugging me about this for 3 years. So what I see a lot of agents when I talk to, especially now as the team leader, I am coaching and consulting with a lot of top producing agents. What they say is, well, I don't really have a business plan. People just call me. People just call me because, you know, whatever, past clients, people that I know, they just know that I sell real estate and then my phone rings, which is great. And it's not necessarily a strategy, because if you're waiting to receive the lead and you're not lead generating, then who's in control of your income? It's not you, right? You can be in control of your income by lead generating every day. And then it's just a bonus when you start lead receiving too, right? So that's the number 2. This is another mistake that I see agents make, especially this is the one that the new agents make. They hit the ground running. They start lead generating. They start talking to people. All of a sudden, all these people actually have real estate needs. Now they have all these new clients, and it's a whole new set of activities, right? Now they have to learn how to input a listing, and now they have to learn how to negotiate inspection requests, and now they have to figure out what documents go to an attorney and what order you do things, and what, you know, you're getting commission requests from Lisa, and Lori's hounding you for paperwork, and there's like a whole slew of things going on, right? And so what happens when you're a new agent, a lot of times you're like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming and it's so important. And everyone's coming at me with all these questions that I don't know the answer to. And so that's what I'm going to spend all day on. I made this mistake when I was a new agent. I spent all day. I put together 5 or 6 deals at one point when I was rather new. And I got completely overwhelmed by them. And I spent all day, I was working full time in addition to selling real estate. So I didn't have a ton of time. And with all the time I had, I was spending just trying to get my clients through the confusing process of buying or selling real estate. I wasn't doing any type of lead generation. So then what happens? All the deals closed and I had some money, which was exciting. And I had no pipeline again. It was like I was starting fresh, dusting off my business plan and starting fresh. Don't make that same mistake, right? You can still do all of that and learn how the process flows and learn all of those things and lead generate, right? If we're talking about just lead generating 2 hours a day, that means you have 6 hours or more that you can spend on the other stuff, right? The other stuff that comes along to learning the real estate business. Okay, the number 3 mistake I see agents make is that they act like they are secret agents. They don't tell everyone that they know that they sell real estate. Sometimes I hear this from the newly licensed agents where I'll hear from them, but we don't have business cards. We don't have our business cards yet. As soon as I get my business cards, I'm going to tell everybody. I can't take any listings because I don't have my signs ordered. They haven't been delivered yet. Right? Don't do that. Don't be a secret agent. The average person knows 7 people that are going to move this year, 7. And you don't even need every person you know to give you all 7. But if a handful of the people that you know gave you 1 name each, would your business be significantly impacted in 2021? You can't do that unless people know that you sell real estate. So, and that's you know, a couple of tactics to do that. Wear your name badge when you're out. I would wear my Keller Williams hat to the gym. I have like a fleece that I wear to the grocery store that says Keller Williams on it. I've seen agents put on the back of their laptop stickers that say like, I sell real estate, ask me if you have a question, right? When you're running into people out in the world, Are you dropping in things about real estate? There was a time I ran into this guy at the grocery store that owns a deli in New Paltz that I knew from way back, like when I used to work in a pizza place when I was in high school and all through college. I worked in a pizza place. I was the ice cream girl. I was the manager at one point. I delivered the pizzas. I didn't make the pizzas. I did everything aside from that. So anyway, this guy used to come in all the time. I hadn't seen him. I ran into him this probably like 2 or 3 years ago. He used to come in every day and eat a lunch or a couple times a week. So I knew him and I hadn't seen him in years. And I ran into him at the grocery store in New Paltz and we were just generally catching up, right? And I was like, oh, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. And he said, how are you? And I could have said, oh, I'm great. It was actually 2 years ago because I was about to get married. It was almost 3 years ago. So I was like, oh, I'm great. I'm engaged. We're getting married this summer. Local New Paltz guy, like telling all that. I could have stopped there because this kind of was just like a friend I used to have. But I also said, and I sell real estate now in the New Paltz area. And you know what he asked me next? Oh, that's great. How's the market, right? Everyone, when you say they sell real estate, everyone kind of is aware of the market, especially right now, how busy it is. So he said, that's great. How's the market? And what could have been a 5-minute conversation, just, hi, nice to see you. How's things? Oh, great. How's the family? Oh, great. Move on, right? Actually pivoted. And he said to me, you know, what's interesting? I'm probably going to be looking to sell my business in the next 2 years. And I own the building that I have my business in. And I would love to talk to you more about that when the time is right. So you never know when you're running into somebody. You don't have to turn everything into a sales pitch, right? Like you don't have to turn everything into like something where you're trying to get them to give you business, but are you telling people on a daily basis that you sell real estate? You're having conversations around the market. Do you know how to have conversations around the market? Right? The easiest way to understand the market is just by looking at the MLS every day and looking at what's new, what's under contract, what's sold, when things have sold, see what they've sold for, right? List price versus sell price. That would then, when you run into somebody, now you have little tidbits that you can share, right? What else happens? With the invention of the big search portals, people know what's going on in the market, whether or not they're actively in the market. I run into people all the time and they're like, oh, did you notice this house sold or that house or this business or that business? If you don't know that, if you're like deer in headlights, oh, it did, they're going to be like, okay, well, that's interesting that you're a real estate agent. You don't even know what's selling, right? But if you know what's sold and you can say, yeah, that one sold. And did you see the house, the other one 2 doors down sold for this price? You don't have to sell one house to know what's going on in the market. You could never sell a house in your whole life yet, and you could understand what's going on in the market and be able to speak intelligently about it. So the number 3 mistake is that they're secret agents. So don't be a secret agent. Learn the market, even if you're new. Any opportunity that you get when you're talking to people, when they're asking what's new, right? What's new or what's going on? The real estate market has been really busy if you've been doing it for a while. Or, hey, I'm doing real estate now. I was doing X, Y, and Z. Now I'm doing real estate. Okay, number 4 mistake. When they're lead generating, they're not focusing on taking listings. They're lead generating for buyers. You never have to lead generate a day in your life for buyers if you just take more listings, because listings bring buyer leads, right? A well-priced listing in this market are anyone else's allergies terrible? Mine are so bad right now. A well-priced listing should get you to the closing table potentially 4 times. In this market, maybe more. So you sell the house. This market, most houses are selling, sell the house. This market, you also should be able to find the buyer for the house. Okay. And then if you're marketing your listings, you should be able to pick up at least 2 buyer leads, ready, willing, and able buyer leads, whether that's from sign calls, whether that's from social media, whether that's from postcards, right? Postcards to the area, circle prospecting, open houses, running ads, paid advertising, pay-per-click, social media, paid advertising, just regular social media reach, all of those things, being listed in the MLS, all of those things, right, should get you buyer leads. So if you want buyer leads, just go take more listings. You'll get more buyer leads. That's the reason why when you start building out an org chart in a team, you keep the listing side of the business for the longest. That's the last thing you leverage out is a listing specialist. The first thing you leverage out are buyer's agents so that you can go take more listings, because the more listings you can go and take, the more leads your team is going to get off of those listings that you can pass to your buyer's agent. So it's an automatic built-in lead generation machine for your buyer's agents. Same rules apply if you're a solo agent. So you take one listing, you can get paid 4 times. The other thing is it helps you market yourself, right? When you have a listing, you now have something to market. You have a sign in the yard. When your neighbor's house sells, do you always know who the listing agent was? Yep. Because you have to drive by their sign every single day to get to your driveway, right? So you know who listed the house. Do you always know who the buyer's agent was? Just as a regular person in the world, neighbor? No. You might find out around the way, you know, like when you meet your new neighbor when they move in. They might not even bring it up though. I mean, I don't know that new people are like, oh yeah, I used so-and-so when I bought the house, right? Usually you're asking them about themselves. So it's a way that you can market yourself in an area, right? The best leads, the best internet leads you will get if you're running ads in command are going to be off of your listings or off of listings. Because that's what buyers are interested in. Buyers want to know the inventory. They want to know what's on the market. And that's what they're most interested in.
Rita?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry to interrupt you. I read something that when you put your sign up and the number one thing that you shouldn't do when you put your sign up is to put it, when it goes under contract, to put there under contract. That you shouldn't do that because people will now move on and say, oh, that's a done deal. And they won't call you. Something I read that you shouldn't do that.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I see that point, and I think it depends. If you are an agent that is has a high market share in a certain town, I think that adding in contract to, and if you have like 10 properties around New Paltz that all say in contract, what are you saying to other homeowners when they drive around?
That you're successful.
You're selling a lot of houses in the area.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. So that could be good. Now, yes, it might also deter sign calls, right? Because you're telling buyer leads that the deal's under contract. So I would say that it depends. If you have a large area and you have 10, 15 signs out and 10 of them say are under contract, so you put the under contract up, and the other 10 are fully available that you're probably getting sign calls off of, then I would say that that's okay. If you have one listing and you are getting a lot of sign calls, buyer leads, like, you know, interested buyer leads, maybe you don't put it up on that one.
Right. Yes. Okay. I got you.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good question though. That's a great question. Were there any other questions about anything else we've gone over so far? Nope. Okay, cool. All right, so number 5. They don't master their listing presentations and their buyer consultations. So if you're doing the hard work and you're lead generating 2 to 3 hours a day and you're setting yourself all these appointments, make sure you don't blow it on the appointment, right? The time to practice for a listing appointment is not when you're in front of the seller and they're asking you all sorts of questions and they're throwing objections at you on commission and pricing and marketing, and they're comparing you to other realtors they've heard about, or whatever else is going on, right? So my question is, do you have a listing presentation and a buyer presentation prepared? Do you have a packet? What do you hand to buyers and sellers when you go on an appointment? Is it customized? There's really great templates in Command. Really, really nice listing presentation and buyer consultation templates in Command. Don't recreate the wheel. Trust me, unless you're a graphic designer, you're not going to do it as nicely as the pre-created things in KW commands. I guarantee you will not. We have a team of people whose sole job is to make nice marketing collateral for us, right? Use it. It's part of your tech package. Christine said she found a great one from a KW agent. Yeah, there's a lot of times there's great presentations that get passed around in some of the Facebook groups, right? Do you have a packet of information? Each page, do you know what your spiel is? Do you know the disc profiles? And do you know how to identify what each client's disc profile is? And then do you have a listing presentation tailored to each disc profile? Same thing with buyers. How do you do your buyer consultation? What does your buyer consultation intake form look like? What questions do you ask a buyer to make sure that they're really motivated to sell? How do you walk a buyer through the process of buying a house? So what does that look like, and how do you explain that to them, right? Sellers want to sell their house in the shortest amount of time for the most amount of money. How do you explain that during a listing presentation to them? Buyers want the best deal in the market. In this market, they want to be able to get into homes fast. They want somebody that understands how to help them negotiate a great deal. And then they want a partner that will walk them through the contract to close process. That's the value proposition that buyers are looking for. So what marketing materials do you have? Do you have a way that you can explain that to them? When I was first learning my listing presentation, I would practice. I worked full-time in Westchester when I first got my real estate license. So I commuted an hour and a half minimum. Most days it was 2 hours each way to work. And I would put my listing presentation on the passenger seat of my car. And I would start and I would flip the page, and it would be a picture of a photo of the photography. And I would talk to myself and give my spiel on why it was important to have professional photography. And then I would flip the page, and then I would talk about the KWLS. And then I would talk. And you know what? Like the first 5 days I did it, I suffered through it. I stumbled all over my words. I made no sense. I don't even know what I was saying, right? And then the next week I would do it, and then I would get the cadence down. And I got it so that I could flip to any page and give you my synopsis about how that on that page, I was going to explain to you about how I'm going to sell your house for the most money in the quickest amount of time. And then on the next page, this is the page, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain the KWLS system or whatever it is, our office or Keller Williams. And in terms that will help you understand that I can sell your house for the most amount of money in the least amount of time, right? You have an elevator pitch. So maybe not even a long listing or buyer presentation, but a quick elevator pitch when you run into somebody that's interested and it's not like a formal consultation. Can you, in under 1 minute, explain to somebody what you do that's unique that will help them buy or sell a home? And how often do you practice it? Do you have a friend in the office that can be a script and role play partner with? Right? That you could call once a week and get on the phone or once a day. Some agents do it every day. Some agents do every other day. And you say, okay, today I'm going to be the seller and you're going to be the agent, and I'm going to give you a hard time about commission. And let's role play that. Right? There's tons of people we have an office of almost 500 agents. There's a lot of people out there just with our group that are working on building their businesses. Find one and make them your accountability partner, right? Your script and role play partner. Practice that kind of stuff, even if it's just to yourself. My husband makes fun of me because I'm always having like random conversations with myself, whether it's like now. So a lot of my job now is to recruit agents, and I had to start back from scratch again, right? I had to learn. I could say my listing and buyer presentations backwards and forwards. And when I started the team leader role, I had to figure out there's 6 consulting conversations you typically have with an agent. And I had to master all of those. And the same rules applied. I had to practice them backwards and forwards, find different cues that I could figure it all out. And I'm okay at it. And I practice every week with the other team leaders in our group so that we can get better. And I have a group of team leaders all across the country. We meet on Tuesdays at 3, and we role play the different consulting conversations, and we all put in our little tidbits like, oh, an agent has said this, I say that. And it's very helpful. So sometimes just getting together in a group, you guys are on the appointments, finding some accountability partners is helpful. Okay, number 6. This is geared towards agents that are new to our company, agents that are new to selling real estate, agents that are doing something new in general for their business. The 6th mistake I see agents make is that they are in a constant state of getting ready. They're getting ready to get ready. As soon as they have their business cards, they're going to start lead generating. As soon as every single name and contact is 100% in their database, they'll start actually putting out a 12 by 12. As soon as they master their listing and buyer consultations, they'll start lead generating. God forbid they set an appointment before they know what they're going to say. As soon as they read, this was me. As soon as I read 10 real estate books, I had a list of every real estate book, every one you could imagine. And I was like, I'm going to read all of these, and then I'm going to be an expert, and then I'll start taking on clients. No, just start, right? Just start doing. Don't be in a constant state of getting ready. You can certainly be prepared and have thinking and planning time baked into your week, but just start, right? Just start lead generating. Just start talking to people. Just start role playing. Just start, right? And it'll all come together. I guarantee if you went out, if you did not have a listing presentation put together, I guarantee if you set yourself a listing appointment today that you'd get that listing presentation prepared beforehand. Right? There's a bold law. It's all the time, all fits, all activities fit in the time slotted, essentially. Right? All work fits into the time that you allow. So I guarantee you will figure it out. Don't let the setup, that's one of my biggest mistakes. I made the same mistake when I started as a team leader. Anna will tell you, she's like, just talk to people. Just go talk to people. Stop getting ready. You're ready. Go. Okay. You just got to do it. All right, number 7. Now, this is a biggie because I know a lot of agents get into real estate because of the flexibility, right? Schedule flexibility, time flexibility. Your schedule is as flexible as your income will be. If you want your income to be very flexible, meaning that sometimes you're making no money and sometimes you're making a lot of money, then you don't have to follow a schedule, right? If you want consistent income through selling real estate, you have to follow a schedule. And that doesn't mean that it has to be a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday schedule. You can set your terms of what your schedule looks like, but you should follow some type of a schedule, right? That for some people that might look like a time blocked calendar. We're very purposeful. Each hour of the day, you're doing a different activity. For a lot of people, that's not, you can set it up and it's very difficult to work within. So what that actually might look like is doing a time block of lead generation in the morning that's very specific, and then leaving the rest of the day to be more open, but being very clear about what you have to get accomplished in the rest of the day, right? Or bigger blocks of lead generation, appointment time, appointment follow-up, all of those things. So yeah, you want to have a schedule. If you're a dual agent, meaning that you are selling real estate and you have another full-time job, you should still have a schedule for selling real estate, right? It might look a little different, but commit to the amount of hours in a week that you can devote to real estate. If you're working full-time and you can spend 15 hours a week, whether it's 2 8-hour days on a Saturday or Sunday, or a couple nights and one full day on the weekend, 15 hours a week working in your business, then that's your schedule, right? You still have a schedule. It's 15 hours a week. Now, once you pinpoint those times that you're going to work in your real estate business, that's when you can back out and figure out what activities you need to do during those times, right, in order to move your business forward. That should be lead generation, right? Lead generation, going on appointments should be most of that time if you're limited in that way. And then a small time could be admin stuff, right? And working on strategy and planning is certainly important. But you do want to follow a schedule, right? What I found with agents who treat their business like a true business, where they get up in the morning, they sit down at a computer and they work diligently, they see the most consistent results the fastest, right? I know for a lot of us that seems counterintuitive because we got into this to fly around and do as we please, right? But we have all the systems and models here at Keller Williams to truly own a business through your real estate license. The first step of that, though, is to really treat it like a business where you have open business hours. That also helps where you can have off time, right? So often I see agents who don't follow a schedule also always feel like they have to be working because they don't set boundaries around their work time. So now everything flows into itself and you have no ability to kind of stop because there's always something you could be doing, right? That's one of the joys and the curses of real estate. There's always something you could be doing. There's always a new lead generation. There's always a new client. There's always a new deal you're putting together. If there's not, that's a problem, right? So the key then becomes if you run a schedule where you're really clear, you have a written business plan, you understand your goals are all follow that SMART acronym and you're hitting them. Well, then you can know when it's okay to take time off and your business isn't going to go backwards, right? Okay, number 8. Now, none of you can be accused of this one because you're all here in the classes, and many of you I see in a lot of the classes that we do in the office. The number 8 mistake that I see agents make is that they are not learning based. I cannot explain to you how many agents have come on board with us and we've gone, and I've said, there's so much training here, and they go, I don't need to be trained. I've been selling real estate for 20 years. And you're like, of course, I'm not looking to train you on how to write a purchase offer and negotiate an inspection or even go on a listing appointment. I'm sure you do all of those things really well. And I'm sure that there's some things where do you want to go next, right? If you're learning based, then you're in a constant state of trying to improve upon yourself, right? Which means that you're open to new ideas. You're open to different ways of doing things. You might learn from other people that are doing things differently. I was on a call with one of the agents in our top 10 in our office this morning. I coach with her a couple times a month, and we were on the call this morning. We were talking about the Nick Baldwin class that we had last week, and she's going to execute on a lot of those ads that she saw. And a lot of that stuff, I mean, this is somebody that sells a lot of real estate, makes lots of money. She could just say, I'll just do whatever I want, whatever I'm doing now, and that'll be that. But she wants to do more because she's learning based. She's excited for me to send her the videos so she can watch the the replays and all of those things. So are you learning based, right? What are you looking to learn? Sometimes it can seem overwhelming. I know with all of the classes that we have in the market center, and we have a lot of stuff, right, that we're promoting to you a lot. So do you know what you want to learn this year? Do you have a growth plan? Right? So every year you might be looking at learning something differently, and then that will make it easier to sort through all the stuff that's offered. So what are you looking to learn now? Are you looking to learn how to do a buyer and listing consultation better? Are you looking to generate more leads? Are you looking to take more listings? Are you looking to grow a team? Are you looking to build wealth for yourself? What's the one most important thing? Think about that, write it down, and then now you have a way to filter the education calendar, because obviously nobody's going to sit in all the classes that we have all day, right? I might accuse somebody who's doing that of waiting to get started, right? In that state of getting ready to get ready. So you want to make sure you're taking classes every week and learning, and then you're also executing on it. So you do have to have a filter to some extent about what you're learning about. Last year I sold real estate. I wanted to grow a team. So anything that had to do with building a team, I went to. When I went to family reunion, you guys will see, some of you have been there in person. There's this whole big schedule, right? And there's a million things going on, and there's all these different classes. Virtually, actually, there's way less than when you would go in person. You go in person, there'd be like 15 breakout sessions, all different stuff. And you're reading and you're like, I do want to learn this and I do want to learn that. And the best advice I got was pick a track. If you're going to family reunion and you want to build a team, or like I was going as a productivity coach, just make sure you do all the PC stuff and then fill in the gaps otherwise, right? Right now, my husband and I are looking on, we're trying to learn how to build more wealth for ourselves, right? We want to get investment properties and that kind of stuff. I I don't know the first thing about it. That's the truth. And so I have to learn about it. So now any opportunity that we have in the office, Rosemary's doing an awesome wealth building series. There's been other opportunities that I've had to talk to people about wealth building. That's what I focus on. So when those, classes come up, that's where my ears prick up and I go, oh, I need to sign up for that. So what is one thing that you want to learn in the second quarter through the balance of the year, right? Said differently, what do you want your business to look like this time next year? And what do you need to learn between now and then in order to get there? And then just go and find some classes that have to do with that. I guarantee between our local education calendar, KW Connect, I think the KW Connect live streams are probably the most underutilized piece of value that Keller Williams offers. They have amazing live streams 4 and 5 times a day in KW Connect right on the main screen. The classes are phenomenal. They are big trainers, big real estate agents that are sharing lots of good strategies with you. So if you aren't checking those out, that's a great place to start too. And they're all recorded in the KW Connect system. Okay, number 9, I'm gonna go through this one quickly because I kind of touched on it on a previous one. So number 9 is they don't role play or script practice, right? So it's just like we talked about earlier. If you don't know how to do a listing presentation, a buyer consultation, that's okay. Everybody doesn't know at some point how to do that. Are you script and role playing, right? What conversations are you having right now in your business that you need to master? It's a really tough seller's market right now. Do you need to script and role play how to create urgency with buyers to get them to write reasonable offers that will actually get them in a house so you're not turning wheels with them? Do you also need to script and role play how to help sellers who now have completely unrealistic expectations because the market's so crazy? And they want to list their house for some exorbitant amount, even higher than the current market can bear. Do you know how to script and role play around that? When it's a hot seller's market, what else happens? For sale by owners start popping up. People think they don't need a realtor anymore because everybody will, buy whatever's on the market. Do you have objection handlers for people that are thinking about listing for sale by owner? People that are going to discount brokerages, right? People that are going to brokerages that are MLS listing only, where they just send in the information and then the information gets listed on the MLS. Do you have objection handlers for that, right? When the market shifts around, at some point it'll be a buyer's market again. Do you have objection handlers for sellers who still think it's a seller's market? They want to overprice the house, right? All of those things you can work on and you can practice. If you're working on building a team, do you need to script and role play around the interview process, the career visioning process? If you're somebody that wants to grow their downline in the office, do you need to script and role play around having conversations with agents in the marketplace that might be interested in speaking with somebody about a career opportunity at KW, right? So what conversations do you need help with, and who can be your script and role play partner for that? That's number 9. And number 10 is sometimes the most painful one, and probably the one that I see I see all of these pretty frequently, but one of the ones that will make the biggest difference in your business is, so the number 10 mistake is that they don't track their business or know their numbers. If you are not speaking to yourself in your head and outwardly to other people in measurable terms about your business will likely not move forward. Let me take that back. Your business will move forward and you might not even be aware of it. So here's the numbers you want to know. How many appointments do you need to go on every single month? That's your lead measure. There's 2 different types of measures in business, lead measures and lag measures. A lead measure is how many appointments you need to set. Notice I didn't say how many closings you need to have. I talk to agents all the time and I go, what's your goals for the year? They say, well, I sold 10 houses last year, so I want to sell 15 houses this year. Who cares? Why is that important to you? Who cares if I could make the same income and show you how to do that with selling 5 houses, would you feel less than because you sold 5 and made the same amount of money? What if you sold 15 and they're all $10,000, $20,000 land lots? Is that would that be cool? Like, cause you hit 20? No, of course not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many closings you have. What you can, and also you can't control how many closings you'll have. Deals fall apart. Sellers decide not to sell. Title issues come up. Buyers back out. Appraisal issues happen. Inspections. Name it, right? Million ways that deals fall apart. You have no control. There are things certainly you can do to guide people through the process, but you have no ultimate control over whether or not a deal is going to close or not. What you do have control over, and this is why it's called a lead measure, is how many appointments you're going on, right? You're always going to have a conversion ratio. Not every appointment's going to lead to a client, and not every client's going to lead to a closing. So you have to understand your conversion ratios. That's another number to track. By the way, if you have the economic business model with your business plan, that's the first. That's where it's all tracked right there. So those are the numbers you want to track. Appointments gone on. How many of those appointments led to clients, right? So from how many listing appointments do you need to go on to get a seller to sign up to list their house with you? How many listing appointments do you need to go on to get a buyer client that's agreeing to work with you, that's pre-approved, ready to see houses? Then how many of those clients actually end up going under contract on a property, right? And then how many of those under contracts lead to closings? Those at the minimum should be the 4 numbers that you're tracking. Here's some other numbers you can track. If you are marketing, how many people in your database are on a 36 touch? If a 36 touch is going to lead you to getting a 6% return on your database, meaning a 6% return of appointments set, then you can just reverse engineer, right? So based on how many appointments you need to get, then how many people need to be in your database on a 36 touch in order to get a 6% return that equals out to the number of appointments you need in order to hit your income goals for the year. Other numbers of your business. What's your average cost per lead when you're running a Facebook ad through Command? How much money does it cost you to get a lead into the system that's on a 36 touch that at a 6% return is going to lead you to your appointment goal, which is going to lead to your income goal? Yep, Patty said using Command will give you your conversion numbers and help goal setting. Yep. Yeah. Command is created around the MREA, right? It's created with the MRE models in mind. Other numbers, right? Your budget model. Do you know how much income you've made year to date? What your expenses are year to date? What's your return on investment when you work with a buyer? What's your return on investment when you work up with a seller? Right? How many leads does your marketing on your listing normally take? How many leads do you get when you market your listing in a certain way? See, all these things, it takes time, right? It's not always intuitive or automatic to track these numbers. And when you know them, you feel much more confident about your business because you really know where you're at, right? And then you just increase, right? So if you know, if I put $20 behind an ad, I'm going to get 10 leads. And out of those 10 leads, 2 of them are going to lead to actual buyers interested in buying right now. And out of those 2, so I'll set appointments on both of them. So now I have two appointments for the month, right? And one of them will actually end up being my client and getting, under contract or getting to the closing. If you want to double your income, then what do? Spend $40 instead of 20. Now you have 20 leads. And now you have 4 appointments. Now you have 2 clients. Is that a much easier way to think about your business than just, I need to go do more? I need to figure out a way to do more, right? If you think in terms of what the measures are of your business, and you just increase, okay, I currently have 100 names in my database and I'm getting 6, if I'm getting a 6% return, that's 6 deals out of those 100 names if they're on a 36 touch. So if I want to do 12 deals a year, then I need to get to 200 names in my database on a 36 touch. And if I still get a 6% return, now I have 12 deals a year, right? So those are the numbers that you want to track. They have to be in line with your business plan, right? Number one, having a business plan. They're actually all on your business plan. You just have to look at it consistently, right? All the other stuff comes in between. Understanding scripts, converting appointments to clients, marketing, focusing on listings, telling everybody you know that you're selling real estate, right? Like that's all of the stuff. And on either end of it, if you don't have a strategy and you're not tracking what you're doing, how can you celebrate, right? That's the other part of it. How do you know if you're doing a good job? How can we celebrate you if we don't know that you're on track for your numbers? We track so many numbers in the market center. I mean, every other day, Patty will tell you I'm pulling up a different spreadsheet, has this metric, this metric, this thing, that thing, this percentage, that percentage, this thing. But it's all the numbers of our business. If you have never downloaded a multi-year trends report for your business, I encourage you to do so. It is chock full of numbers. If you want to know about your business, download the multi-year trends report out of the report section in the mykw.kw.com website. Under the reports tab, go into reports. I don't know what tab it's under there. You'll find it's called the multi-year trends. I think it's associate multi-year trends. If this is your first year with the company, it won't have a ton of data in it, but after you're here for a while, you will start seeing trends in your business. What part of the year do you normally take more listings? What part of the year do you usually have the highest income? What does that help with, right? Now, normally when you're selling real estate, if you take the most listings, say you take the most listings in May, that generally doesn't mean you're going to make the most money in May. You're probably making the most money in July or August. So if you know in May, generally, the closings are happening from the winter, and sometimes the winter is a little bit of a slower time, so you're going to have less money. But you know that normally in August, you make extra money, right? Over and above what you're budgeted. Well, now you can winterize your business. You can keep money aside for next May when you know you're going to make less income, right? Instead of waiting and being like, I just had a bunch of closings, let me catch up. Let me pay all my bills, pay off my credit card. I just had a big closing. I got 20 grand. I'm going to pay off my car loan now. That's fine if you are projecting that your income is going to be on track for your budget for the rest of the year. If you're not, then you shouldn't do that, right? But you're not going to know that unless you have a budget, which is part of your business plan, right? Those are the numbers that we want to track. So all of those things put together, that's how you build a scalable business, right? That's how you transition from being a salesperson with a sales job, trying to find the next client, right? And the next deal to put together, to actually being a business owner, to understanding what measures move your income forward, in what on average, how your income comes into your business, and how to winterize your business so that you have a steady cash flow throughout the year that allows you to continually reinvest in your business so that you can grow it, right? So that when you get to a certain point, if anybody on this call or watching this recording later wants to grow a team, you have to know your numbers. That's the key to growing a team, because that's how you're going to know how to add in agents, right? If every time you get to a point where you're bringing in 20 additional leads per month, that is your trigger for adding a new buyer's agent. That's the way to do it, not the reverse. I'm going to add a buyer's agent and then they're going to get me to 20 new leads per month. That usually doesn't work out well, right? You want to do it the other way around. But you want to know for sure, right, that you have the leads, you have the systems, you have the budget, all of those things. So if you're looking to grow, you want to make sure that you have the base to grow off of. And then it just becomes easy. You just duplicate it, right? All right. Questions, comments, thoughts, feedback, ahas.
I need to get to work.
So which one will you start work on first, Hazel?
Well, I have set up my business plan. Now I've got to look at it and make sure I'm meeting my goals.
Yep. Awesome. That's a good first step. Yep. Who else?
I was
Patty?
definitely guilty of just learning, taking classes, waiting till I had it all. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to start.
Yep.
And that could be forever.
Yep.
I'm guilty of that too.
Analysis paralysis.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Too
Yes.
much learning, not enough doing.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's an easy one. That's certainly one of my biggest struggles for sure. Every time I've entered something new, I want to know everything about it because I don't want anyone to think, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about, right? Like,
Right.
how can I be the person that's talking to the people about buying and selling homes if I don't feel like I know it all? But usually you know enough, right, to get started, and then you learn as you go.
Oh, definitely. And I think the new classes and all the stuff is really kind of like a shiny object for me. Like,
Mhm.
oh my God, that's so great. Let me sit on that or whatever. But then you have like 10 different notebooks and you haven't tried any of the things. So it's not good.
Yeah. Yeah. Filtering. Listen, we're going to keep shiny objecting you in the market center, right? That's part of our job. We send you emails
Totally.
and Facebook posts and call you and tell you about all the great classes. That's our job here. It's your job to know if it's actually something that's in line with your business plan, right?
The business plan is key. Rita, I got bumped off in between 7 and 9. So what was number 8?
Number 8 was they don't focus on learning. So counterintuitive to what we're saying now, right? Some agents dive right in and they don't focus on learning, or they say, well, I've been selling real estate for 20 years. I don't need any more. I don't need the classes. I don't need to learn, right? I think everybody has something that they're always looking at learning to do differently. So even if you have the leads and you have all the stuff down, then do you need to learn how to build wealth for yourself? Then do you need to learn how to grow a team? Then do you need to learn how to step into leadership in the market center, right? Like what's the next thing to be learning? The agents that are learning based that are always in the classes are the ones that are ahead, of the market. I'll use Vicki Wolper as an example. Vicki is usually the first person at all of the classes. She's the first one to sign up for Mega Camp, Family Reunion. When I log in, I can log in and see how many classes you're all taking in my office for Mega Camp. Okay, so some people register, they don't take one class, right? It's whatever. Scott took a bunch of them. I noticed that. Vicki almost always takes the most classes. This woman she's our top producing agent in the office.
Yep.
And she shows up to everything. Our ALC meetings, she's the first person on the call with me. I mean, I could say the same thing about Patty too. Patty's always the first person to participate. She's always the one in the class learning. And look, an opportunity opened up for Patty within the market center where we trust her now to coach and consult our newly licensed agents because we know that she does a good job of learning and understanding all of the things and that she's a good resource for agents. So being learning based, it opens up opportunities, a lot of opportunities.
Cool.
Awesome. Other questions?
Last one. Can we go back to number 1? I missed the subtopics of the business plan. One was budget.
Yep.
One was your flow chart, like it might just be you and a TC. And then I missed the other 2.
Yep. So the first page of your business plan should be your economic business model. That's your income goal at the top, and then the series of calculations you do to get down to your appointment goal for the year, which you then just divide by 12, and now you have an appointment goal for the month, right? That's your first page. The second page is your lead gen model. So once you know how many appointments you need to go on, now you need to figure out how you're going to get on those appointments.
Okay.
And then the third one is your budget, right? So how are you going to pay for the leads to get on the appointments? And then the fourth one is, okay, now you have the leads and the appointments and you're on track for your goal. So now you need leverage, right? So now how do you build out a team underneath you so that you can continue to scale your business forward?
Cool. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just started using the TC and it's going to be great. And I'm going to give it a shot for like
Good.
my next 5 or 6 deals, and then I'll probably keep it.
That's great. Good. Yep. Good leverage. That's for sure. All right. Thanks, everybody. I will see you all back here next week. I don't know what the topic
Thank
will be,
you.
but it'll be something fun.
Thank you.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks. Bye.